Hey, good morning. Happy Thursday. So every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, I do a information share on how to help your child. And so I hope today's is valuable. Today's is called When Help Arrives, Preparing for Your First Responders. So first responders are police, firemen, EMT workers, and your autistic child, because that can be a really nerve-wracking situation. So let me go over today's agenda really quick. I'm going to explain why this is really critical to master for a family that has a child with level 3 autism. I'm going to explain what could go wrong. I'm going to give you 4 steps to handle the situation so that you can respond appropriately and keep the situation calm. We're going to go over where you might get stuck and solutions for that. And then I'm going to recap and give you an action plan. So today I also have a sheet for you. It's a first responder 1 page and a communication card to help you in the middle of a crisis, because you want to have your information really ready to go when there is a crisis, because that's the last time you need to be looking up things, okay? So let's get started. So the reason I decided to do this today was my daughter got loose yesterday. She's been following a local cat, and she got out of the house, and this hasn't happened in ages, but we couldn't find her for a few minutes. Literally, she was in there 1 minute and gone the next. It's because she keeps following this cat, this cat that looks like our old cat who passed away. And she's pretty fast. Cats are fast, so she was chasing the cat. So what happened was our neighbor 2 doors over called the police. The police came, and so we kind of had to deal with that situation. We found her. She was right there over at her house. That's why she called the police. She's this young adult wandering around who was obviously autistic. And so I thought, okay, you know what? This is a really good topic to cover for people who have a child in their family with level 3 autism, because this can quickly escalate into something problematic. Okay, so why would it escalate into something problematic? And there's a lot of reasons for that. Hi, Diane. One is, so if you got EMTs, last time we had EMTs come to our house, actually for Zoe, they were really well skilled and trained in what to do with someone on the spectrum. We can tell. However, there's different levels of training for EMTs. Law enforcement may or may not be trained. Firemen and women may or may not be trained. There's no way to really know where their training is at. So you need to prepare yourself, and your child needs to be prepared just in case they are not trained. And then, of course, also, as we parents well know, profound autism is often misunderstood. Meltdowns are mistaken for tantrums and lack of discipline. Aggression is another common sensory reaction. People don't understand that the aggression is not hate or violence or something like that. It's actually just usually attributed to sensory overload and things that our autistic children are dealing with. And then, of course, too, maybe your child's unprepared. Your child suddenly sees these strangers, authoritative strangers in the house. That can be off-putting for anyone, much less a child with profound autism who doesn't really understand. So I'm going to now give you 4 steps for handling this situation should it come up. And remember, it's not necessarily that, like in my case yesterday, that somebody called because of your child. There may be a fire down the block. There may be someone in your house who got injured, maybe one of your other kids, your husband, maybe you, right? So everyone in the house needs to know what to do if EMTs or law enforcement or fire people show up. Okay, so step number 1 is get together a first responder information sheet. So this is a sheet that's going to have the information about your child in great detail. This will have information about your child in great detail. So, for example, it's not going to be just my daughter is 19 and has profound autism. It will be she is nonverbal, she is partially verbal, she communicates within her tablet. She needs her tablet for communication. She has this particular toy. She has a service dog. Whatever the information they need to know to help your child through the crisis, including things like triggers, what soothes your child, what calms them down, how to get through a meltdown, whatever you know that can help them, put it on there. Things like allergies are good too, medications, things that help them soothe if they're on like CBD or something like that. Whatever information can help a person who has no knowledge, a person who has no knowledge of your child, help your child through a crisis. That's what you need to put on that sheet. Okay. Step number 2 is to train your response. You need to be calm, and it's really hard to do in a crisis. I know that, but you need to practice with yourself how to stay calm. Remember that first responders are there to help. Even if you feel like they're not, that's really what they are there for. So it's good to be calm, but another thing you can also do is write a script out of what is similar to the sheet that I just said to create. Also, I forgot to say, take that sheet and put it somewhere prominent, like on your refrigerator door or your front door. And then step 2 is create yourself a script for what to say when people come during an emergency who are first responders. So my child has level 3 autism, also known as profound autism. She does do self-injurious behavior. When she is upset, she can be mildly aggressive. She is somewhat verbal, but cannot talk in a conversational manner. She cannot always answer questions properly as to how she feels. Things like that. So you want to just make yourself a little sheet of what to say, hi Chris, and then just kind of practice it to make sure that when they're here, you know what to say to them. So okay, so that's step number 2 is making yourself a little script to stay on point, and that will also help you to keep calm. Remember to do all the things that I've taught you in the past, like 4-8-7 breathing, saying a prayer, anything in the moment to calm you down to get you all through this crisis. Okay, step number 3 is you want to inform before anything happens, right? So we could get off this phone call and tonight you could have an emergency. So this is something you got to fit it in your schedule as soon as you can, is informing local authorities and law enforcement and EMT and your neighbors, all the people who are going to be important. Inform them about your child, giving them 2 pertinent information. I want to think of it like if your child had a life-threatening allergy, right? You would want any first responder to know the minute they walked in the door, right? Now, maybe your child has a bracelet or something that says that they have an allergy, but even still, you would want to make sure they know, do not give my child penicillin or whatever it is, right? So it's the same kind of thing. Think about the minute they walk in the door, you want them to know your child and be comfortable with your child. Now, one thing you can do that a lot of places offer, especially small towns, I'm sure big towns do, small towns like mine, is they have events. It might be a summer event, like a Memorial Day thing. It might be a vendor expo. These are pretty popular at vendor expos, honestly. The local, usually the police and the fire department and maybe the EMTs will come there. They will have their trucks and the kids can come look at the trucks, talk to the people. If you have anything like that going on, that is amazing for your child. Please do it. I remember that Zoe, when she was first in school, was just probably like 6 or 7, her school at 7 Gen did that kind of a event with firefighters, and she got to hold the hose. They didn't pour a little bit of water out of it, and she got to hold the hose and wear that fire hat. And it's one of the happiest photos I have of her over all these years. She is so happy doing that. So if you get the opportunity to do these events where first responders are there, do them. Your kids will have a great time, and you can talk to them there and get them to know your child. Okay, step number 4 is, after you prepare yourself, you have to prepare your child. And one way to do that is to give your child visuals. So you can go and have the pictures of local law enforcement. They might be you might be able to download them off the website. But just make sure they're up to date on the website. It's going to be a little harder probably with EMTs, but you can at least get pictures of your local law enforcement, very likely, and your local police department and your local fire department. You can get photos of them. You can walk in and ask them for photos, or you can go to the website, or you can email them and say, I'm trying to create social stories for my child. I would like some photos of you so that I can put it in a binder, laminate it, and so that they know that when you come, they know who you are. That would be really helpful for your child as well. Okay, so yesterday, like I said, here's our success story. The police came, and they were very nice, and we told them what happened, that our daughter was off chasing this cat because it looks just like a cat, and that she hasn't run away in ages. And we knew she couldn't get that far. We knew she's only so fast. We explained all that to them. Zoe had a real fascination with all the gadgets, including flashlights, but also like the taser. And so we successfully kept her away. And we told them oh, she's really fascinated with all that stuff. She just likes gadgets, I said. And so we kept her away from that. And we were very fortunate because one of the 2 police officers who showed up also had an autistic child, I think a son, who was 5. So, he kind of looked like he knew. He knew, even though she was 19, he totally knew the story. So that is actually great for us to know that somebody here has a child impacted, it looked like by profound autism, so that he really understands the situation. So that's very helpful. So ours was a success story. They came. It took a little bit of info. We said goodbye and have a nice day. And it was only a few minutes. Zoe was thrilled that there were police in the house, so it all worked out well. She was totally distracted from chasing the cat. So that's helpful, if you have someone in the police department who has an autistic child, that is very helpful. But otherwise, you might need to investigate in how to get them training and whatever they need. Okay, so now, where you might get stuck. So you might feel really intimidated to do this, to go to the police department or the fire department and ask them in advance how to help. So like I said, if there's an event, you can do that, but you don't really want to wait. So you can also email them and tell them what's going on and that you have an autistic child. You can... I know for some people who live on a busy street, you may want to try to get a street sign if that's applicable to you. And then the police or the EMTs will know when they get there that there's an autistic child in the neighborhood or in the house. You may also feel really nervous about this whole thing. So remember I told you to write a script. Go sit down with one of your good buddies or a family member, someone you really trust, and just practice the script with them a couple of times. It's not going to be difficult, but it might just make you feel more at ease if you've been through the process. Because remember, when first responders are coming, that means a crisis is going on. Now, it might not be your crisis. It might be the next door crisis or something across the street or a fire down the block. But when they come to your door, whether or not there is your personal crisis, you want to be as calm and as prepared as possible. Okay, so let's just recap that. So we talked about why it's critical for families with kids with level 3 autism to be prepared for first responders to come. We talked about where things might go wrong and the reasons for that. I gave you 4 steps in order to respond so that the event goes smoothly. I told you what to do if you should get stuck and where you might get stuck. And then this is just a recap. So as an action item, I have developed a first responder readiness worksheet, page 1, a 1-pager, and it has a little space in there for a communication card that you can print out and laminate and give to your child so that they have it on hand should you get separated from them or anything like that. You can do Project Lifesaver, which is a great thing to do, but if you would like, I will message me and you can not message me, just comment below and I will give you a copy of the 1-page first responder sheet so that you are prepared. Because remember, you might be the one in crisis. Maybe one of your other children choked on something and you had to call EMTs. You need to be really super calm, and one good way to be calm and get through the crisis is to have your autistic child's information at the ready to go, so that they know and they're calm, because you don't want a second crisis to happen. And even if you're calling for them or for someone else, you don't want a second crisis. So those are the steps to what to do when help arrives, like first responders come to your house, and how to help you and your child through the information. Please drop a comment below. Drop a hashtag responder if you would like that 1-pager to print out and put on your refrigerator or door. And like I said, I put a communication card in there so you can cut that out and laminate it. All right, that's it for me. If you have any questions, drop them below in the comments. Have a great day, and I will see you next week, and I'll see you in the group. Okay, bye.